You may know her as the character Red in the Netflix show Orange is the New Black, but Dubuque native Kate Mulgrew can be many other characters.
I've always really liked her work a lot. I liked her movies, I liked her in Star Trek, I liked her in Orange is the New Black.
And Nichols' love was enough to take the long drive to see her.
I am from Columbia, Missouri. I was at work, in between meetings, and just on a lark, I was looking around and I saw that she had written a book. And then I kind of, went along the links and discovered that she was going to be coming to Dubuque, Iowa. And I went, what? Not LA or New York? Dubuque, Iowa? I'll just drive up and see her.
Mulgrew returned to Dubuque to meet with fans and read her book, Born with Teeth, a memoir.
And I thought, I'm sure they're all tired and they'd like to go to the hotel, but I want to take them to Derby Grange, where I grew up. And I want them to see how my childhood unfolded.
And while she writes of Dubuque's past, she praises how the city has grown.
I think that the seeds of this were always present. It's a beautiful city, right? A gem, undiscovered on the Mississippi, with Galena just across the way, getting all the kudos.
And that changed.
Initially, when I graduated high school, I went to Kirkwood, went to computer school, worked at that for a little bit, and then decided to go to watchmaking school. How fast you pick things up was how fast you progressed through. I guess I always had an interest in it, kind of tinkered with it a little bit. Probably part of it is, I would say, taking something that doesn't work, get it up and running, it's probably the satisfaction of making something work again that hasn't worked in a number of years.
The Bobcats at Western Dubuque High School were host to a very special guest.
It was definitely an honor. I view Western Dubuque very similar to Appleton, Parkersburg, where I grew up, where a lot of community pride, and the school is truly a focal point of the communities, and it was just an honor anytime I think you're asked by a school district to come and to share, what I went through, and if I can help, anybody in that auditorium, it was well worth my time.
Aaron Thomas, winner of the SB's 2010 Arthur Ashe Award for Courage, came to talk and tell the story of his father, Ed Thomas, and how he tackled adversity in everyday life to help rebuild his town after being hit by a tornado in 2008, until in June of 2009, his dad was killed by one of his former players.
Yeah. You just know that somebody killed Ed Thomas. It's okay.
And after the tragedy that took the lives of 4 Western Dubuque students, social studies teacher Jay Heffel said that the day was not about reflecting on a tragedy, but learning.
Today was about, we're all going to have adversity in our lives, and here's some help in trying to learn how to deal with adversity and how to make your life a better life.
Aaron told his story of working through adversity, and he sees how this community has been affected by hard times.
Well, like I said, you go through situations and somebody always has it worse, and these young people went through something worse than I did, losing my dad. You're supposed to lose your parent, but to lose some classmates and peers, that's a tough thing to get through, and the way they've responded, the way their communities have come together and been supported by other people around Iowa, I think is a great testament to not only the folks of Western Dubuque, but to our state as a whole.
Thomas, as Election Day on November 4th draws closer, more and more people are wondering who to vote for. Candidates such as Rod Blum and Pat Murphy are campaigning more and more. But for Deanna Miller, she will have a different experience at the voting booth.
I have been in the United States now for almost 10 years. I got here in 2005 to go to Loras College for my college degree. But then I became a citizen this past July, so July 2014, ironically July 4th. So it was actually an Independence Day when I became a citizen.
And while her family in Columbia were sad to see her leave, they also saw something else for their daughter.
I view it as an opportunity to broad the information, the image that people have about Columbia, be able to teach people about my culture and, teach people about understanding that cultural differences are actually great, and we can all enrich from learning about each other's backgrounds.
After being brought in as a citizen of the United States, Miller is excited to vote in her first election. And to her, a spot in the voting booth matters.
I'm very excited about voting. My situation is a little bit different because my family was involved in politics when I was in Colombia. So my father was a representative at the House of Representatives in Colombia for a period of time a while ago. So we were always very involved in politics. You know, we always understood the value of actually voting as a way to contribute to the future of your country.
Miller sees her first election as an opportunity to also give people a different perspective. The Blonde Brothers Distillery in Galena had a parking lot full of cars and a line outside the door for people waiting for their first batch of bourbon.
The whole reason we opened this distillery was to make bourbon, to make whiskey. You know, we make a variety of other products, so this is kind of a special day because it's the first bourbon that's been distilled and sold in Galena in over 80 years.
Specifically distilled to help celebrate the ending of the Civil War, Blum knew these bottles would rush out the door.
We've had probably over 200 requests for bottles to be held. We kind of joked and said if we had honored all the requests, we wouldn't have any to sell today.
Yep. We didn't know how long the line was going to be. We were actually a little worried when we pulled up that we thought it might be too long, but it's just about right, it looks like.
Even family of the brothers would have to wait in line for this bourbon.
I mean, we were telling our first cousins that we can't hold bottles for them. We had to kind of draw a line in the sand and stick with it. Even our own employees were limited to one bottle.
And these special bottles would be drank or...
Ours is going to be for decoration, but I'm pretty sure that my son-in-law will drink his.
For more on this story, you're already in the right place. thonline.com. Playoff basketball continues for the Wahlert Golden Eagles as they took on the Center Point Urbanus Storm and Pointers at Western Dubuque, and the Eagles' nest came in full force. The game would start out evenly matched with both teams coming out with quick play, but it was junior Cordell Pemsel and senior Nolan Timp that would lead the charge to end the first half, up 10, 36-26. Going into the second half, the Golden Eagles put their foot on the gas pedal and never stopped. Continued help from Pemsel and Timp would see the Golden Eagles fly to a final score of 74-54 to a district final win.
Early in the game, I mean, we were basically beating ourselves. We turned the ball over, took a little rush shots, but we knew once we started getting in the flow that things were going to go our way, and then that stepped up on the defensive end as well.
For more news on Tri-State sports, you're already in the right place. thonline.com.
Going for a run is something that many of us have trouble finding the time for, but the Dubuque Girls Running Club sees it as an opportunity for fun. And parents are raving about it.
I love it. I wish they would have it for my boys and for me. Yeah, I love it.
And how much do you two enjoy running here?
A lot.
The girls trained for 8 weeks to finally run a 5K.
Yes, so I had that in mind. I had the 5K in mind from the beginning that this was going to be our celebration. But I really had no idea if they would be able to progress and be able to run the whole 5K. And today I have no doubt that they've all come so far that they're going to rock it.
And while these girls are strong enough to run 3.1 miles, Brittany Hermson has seen bigger changes.
I have noticed from the beginning to the end, girls are coming up that are breaking out of their shell. The insecurities that they had in the beginning are gone. There's so many amazing stories and success stories with them that I'm so proud of all of them.
And when they reach the finish line, the question is, when's the next session?
So that is something that all the parents have asked, and there will be a part 2 and continuance of the program.
For more on this story, you're already in the right place. thonline.com. In Dubuque, Sam Lozada, TH Media.